Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. A lot of great things to talk about this week. I usually talk about places I'll go eat and everything like that, just because, I want to know about that cool shit if people know about it. Like, if you got a cool restaurant that you've heard about, let me know about it because I would love to go to it. And that's exactly how this came to be. A listener hit me up and was like, hey, you got to go to the Golden Pig in Cecil. It is unreal. And I was like, all right, what is it? And they said it's Korean food, and it is the best you'll ever have, and it's a very unique experience. So I was like, all right, cool, unique experience. I kind of like that. That caught my attention. So the first time we went there, it very much is a unique experience. There is a room that's probably maybe like a 20 by 20 room, and there is a table in there. There's two tables with two seats at them each, and then there is an L-shaped counter that has, I think, 4 total seats on there, maybe 5 you could squeeze it, and then right over that counter, there is probably got to be maybe like 10 foot by 4 foot rectangle where this lady named I think her name is Yong Kwon, if I can remember correctly, but she is the owner and the creator of the Golden Pig, and it is seriously some of the best food I've ever had. I went there the first time and we had ramen, and we had ramen and like a Korean pancake, and then bulgogi, I think it's called, and then it was great. So we went there the other night, and I had ramen, and then I had their chicken fried rice, and I was like, chicken fried rice, and I swear to God, it was the best I've ever had in my life. And it's not like traditional chicken fried rice. This was almost more of it was like a fresh take on it. If you eat regular fried rice, it kind of, it feels heavy. The vegetables kind of blend in with the heaviness, but this was the vegetables were more pronounced and stuff like that in their chicken fried rice, and it was so good. But it's just a unique experience. You feel like you're at someone's house and they're cooking for you. Definitely an awesome place to go. I would definitely recommend it. The Golden Pig. Awesome place, but you might have to wait. I heard people calling in for a to-go order, and she's telling them 40 minutes, hour, and people are lined up at this place. And, her story that's posted on the wall, that even says, she's like, oh, I never in my wildest dreams wanted to work in a restaurant, but I just decided to start making recipes, like her mother's recipes pretty much, and it's just taken off more than she could have ever imagined. But definitely an awesome place. I got about 3 episodes left of season 3 of Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale, I talk about it on here a lot, and honestly, it's just because it's a fantastic TV show. It is super fucked up. It is. It's fucked up. But, it's well done, and it's visually the best. It's probably the most beautifully shot, TV or, show, whatever you want to call it, I've ever seen. Absolutely worth watching. It's on Hulu. Definitely check it out. And I'm pumped to see how it plays out. I usually think about if people are gonna beat to death, good shit. The Walking Dead is utter trash. It was great at first. The Walking Dead was fire at first. It was so good, but now it's just garbage. And maybe you like it, but I don't. It's just I'm just tired of it. I was tired of it a couple years ago even. And it's just they squeeze it to death. They squeeze every bit of greatness out of something. And you just got to let things go while they're still hot. You got to make people want some more of it. But I don't know. I can't wait for, TV is just so good nowadays. There's just so many good things to watch, so much good content to take in. Me and my wife watch Queer Eye. Queer Eye is honestly, I might tear up at every single episode. It's fantastic. The show's fantastic. It's your typical remake show, and it's just a group of 5. They're the Fab Five, and there's these 5 gay guys. They're all from different backgrounds, and they're all awesome people. excuse me, but they all bring like, comedy to the table. They all like joke around. It's just really a great show. It's hard to not enjoy it. But keep coughing, no clue. Anyway, people like podcasts, obviously. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a fan of podcasts. And another thing in common is you're a fan of Pittsburgh. I bet you 95% of yins are. But Sidney Crosby is the captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously. If you didn't know that, I'm sorry. But he is the captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, has been for a grip. All right, a grip. I think 14 years now. 2005 they signed him. But, if you think about that, like 15 years being at a certain place, you think about like that's crazy, but he's a super private dude. Like you don't hear about him with anything. Like he doesn't have like social media. Like you never hear about him like fucking Me Tooing someone or like, trying to jack someone off in a bar or some shit like that. You don't hear about like crazy stuff like that. But there's a podcast called Spittin' Chicklets with it's like part of Barstool's whole movement, but it's with a bunch of old hockey players that don't play anymore. Ryan Whitney, Bissonnette, RA, like a bunch of random people. But it's just a great podcast with these old hockey, not old even, but just retired hockey players. And they have all kinds of great guests on there. Marc-Andre Fleury, a bunch of cool people. But it's been rumored, that Sidney Crosby was coming on. They showed a picture of it, I think a month ago, maybe even more, 2 months ago. But it finally came out, August 7th. That's his birthday, obviously. He turns 32 this year. But it's a great episode. It's an hour and 25 minutes, I think. And for Sidney Crosby to sit down and just have a conversation with old friends for an hour and 25 minutes or whatever, an hour and change, that's something that I've always wanted, and I'm sure that a lot of yins have always wanted. And I figured I'd bring it up on here because some people might just not know that that's a thing. But it's a really great podcast about Sid and look at me talking like I know the guy. Really great podcast about Sidney Crosby and kind of a little glimpse inside of what he is. But really great. Definitely check it out. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we get to the reason everyone's here, this week's guest. But today, the Pittsburgh City paper came out with their Best of Pittsburgh Awards. And one of our guests, Matt Christie, the owner of the sponsor of this podcast, Streets on Carson, won Best Chef in Pittsburgh. Like that right there, that's awesome. I couldn't be more pumped for him. Best chef in Pittsburgh, that's fucking awesome. Very proud of him. Me and Matt obviously met through this podcast. And, it could have just been another guest, talk to him. That's it. But just developed a relationship over the last couple of years. And I've grown fond of him. I'm proud to call him my friend. I really enjoy, just having him as someone, him and his wife, as someone in our lives now. But, for him to win Best Chef after seeing all the hard work that he puts in is really, really awesome. It's very, very well deserved. He's doing something that is very truly unique at Streets on Carson, and he just has a great team behind him, and I think that shows a lot of their leader because if you have a fucking asshole as a boss, those people are leaving soon. You know what I mean? No one wants to be under a dickhead, and Matt got a great team, so he's obviously doing things right, and we talked about that on the last podcast he was on, and I kind of got a glimpse of it for a couple days, and that was the first time I ever got that experience of seeing what a kitchen looked like, and obviously that was the best one to go to get that experience. The dude's the best chef in Pittsburgh, and that's proven right there on paper, and I mean, you go to that restaurant and you're not going to have a bad time. Everything there is truly great, and I wanted to I wanted to recognize that this dude is for people that are listening on here, it's like they every week they hear someone different, and it's hard to really attach yourself to that story because that's not your story. That's just a guest's story. So this dude has a restaurant. Yeah, this dude grew up and made this restaurant, and you listen to that, and then you just the podcast episode gets deleted. But if you think about it, it's these are people's lives. Every single episode we listen to, and that I have the privilege to talk to these people, I talk to them about their hopes and their dreams and every single ounce of their passions, because what we're talking about is obviously what they're passionate about. And I was really thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking about the role that Matt has, and I'm a fan of Anthony Bourdain, and Anthony Bourdain had this quote that I was just looking up, and it says, cooking is a craft, I like to think, and a good cook is a craftsman, not an artist. There's nothing wrong with that. The great cathedrals of Europe were built by craftsmen, though not designed by them. Practicing your craft in an expert fashion is noble, honorable, and satisfying. And I read that, and I immediately think of Matt and his crew down there, because one, I don't think he's corny enough to call himself an artist, a food artist. You know what I mean? What he does at his restaurant is he gets street foods from around the world. So these are foods that are being made in other regions of the world, and he is crafting them in a way that gives them he's honoring the real traditions of these cultures, and in the best way he knows how. You know what I mean? You're still gonna go in there and listen to Wu-Tang and Fleetwood Mac and fucking all kinds of other good ODBs playing the whole time, and that's great. But you also are still gonna get a small glimpse of that part of the world, and I just think it's so great that he got that ticket right there as the best chef in Pittsburgh. So if you get on the streets on Carson, tell him the podcast sent you. Tell Matt congratulations, because it's very well deserved. But anyway, about all that sappy shit, Matt knows I love him. I just wanted to talk about him for a minute. I wanted to recognize my dude. This week I have a very special guest as well. Someone that I feel that if you have any sort of tie in the Pittsburgh music scene, you're going to know about this dude. DJ Bamboo. DJ Bamboo has been in the scene for, a grip now as well. And you've probably seen him at Southside. You've probably seen him opening your local shows. You've probably seen him performing in local music festivals, competitions, all this shit. And he was just a dude that, I've always known about. We've always followed each other, or I followed him, and I known of him. But I would see him performing, and he performed at Threads whenever I worked down there, and I just thought he was a super dope DJ. So I always was once I started this podcast, he was on my radar. So I hit him up, and we had a really great conversation about all kinds of shit. He got a super interesting life, and I didn't know too much about him, and I feel like a lot of people might not know too much about him, and I was excited to get him in here and figure out what he's about. So, we talk about golf. We talk about what he wanted to do as a kid. We talk about how he got into music. I always think it's super interesting. If people are DJs or if they're tied to music in a certain way, I want to know where their influences came from. And I thought it was super interesting to hear about Vince, or DJ Bamboo as he would call himself. But, I like to call people by their first names, but I don't know if that's disrespectful or not. Anyway, sorry if it is. But without further ado, another great episode of the podcast. I wonder what number I'm at. Hold on, let me see. 82. Without further ado, episode 82 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with DJ Bamboo.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back.
telephone.
I'll call you right back podcast. All right. You ready to roll?
Let's get it, man.
All right. This has been long overdue.
I know, right?
So weirdly enough, whenever Allison came over, I've known who you were for a minute, through random people. You know, you came and you performed at Threads, and I think that was the first time I ever met you in person. Is whenever you were DJing down there for some event, and then whenever Allison rolled over, she was like, "Oh, this is Vince," and I was like, all right, this could probably work. And
nice.
I think that was the first time I met you. Now, what was your experience of you sitting here while we did a whole podcast? Was that weird to you?
No, it's cool. I've sat in, I've watched friends film podcasts. I have a bunch of, YouTube homies that do that. You know what I mean? It's just part of the normal day.
I've only had two people ever just, sit there while someone else is recording, and it was, you and then another dude whenever Top Gun was in here.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just, I was just curious on the aspect of it. It's just I never really sat behind it. I guess it's kind of like listening to a fucking
just a podcast, yeah.
Listening to
just live.
Podcast. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit better, I guess,
in 3D.
So, I really don't know too much about you. I know that you have made a mark on the city. I know that you're pretty well known. And where do you even come from?
Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Fun. You grew up in Monroeville?
Yeah, I went to Gateway.
Gateway.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Gosh, I'm 29. I turned 30 in October.
See, I had no idea how old you were because I'm 29, and I could have guessed you were because you hang out with older people,
right?
And you never know nowadays.
Right.
Everyone
true
can never tell their age. But so Gateway. I don't think I feel like I've known someone from every school. I don't think I've known anyone from Gateway.
Really?
I know you just had some crazy ass linebacker that was just super nasty. That's the only thing I know about Gateway.
Yeah.
So, what was your childhood like? I can't even imagine. I know that you post all this Pokemon, and, you probably grew up just like the rest of us, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I was just a normal kid, man. Monroeville was chill. It was pretty diverse from what I thought. I grew up with, a Puerto Rican neighbor who was my good homie, and then, my friend Matt, who's just, normal-ass white dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, my aunt and uncle owned an ice rink. It's called Golden Mile. I don't know if you remember that.
Golden Mile Ice Rink. Where was it at?
It was right on the border of Plum and Monroeville.
I don't know if I remember that or not. That sounds the name sounds familiar
or something. Now it's like a gymnastics.
I might know where that is. So Monroeville. So that's good. We're the same age, so it'll be a little bit easier to keep going with. Now, were you a big ice skater? Were
Absolutely,
you into it?
Man. I grew up. Right after I learned how to walk, I learned how to skate just because of that. My dad worked there after his day job. He'd work the skate rental or whatever.
Yeah.
They had me working there at a hella young age, slinging pizzas or whatever.
I feel like that'd be fun.
It was fun, and it was an experience just because I don't think anyone else I don't know. It was we were an immigrant family running that, and it was just wild, seeing because hockey, everyone knows, is a white sport, and
oh, that's a good point. I guess
so. The dynamic was cool.
Did your aunt and uncle come over?
Yeah.
Where were they from?
Philippines. My whole family. Yeah.
Okay, so when did they come over here?
In the 80s, and my uncle came as an engineer at Westinghouse when Westinghouse was popping.
Oh yeah.
And his sons, my cousins, loved playing hockey, and he's like, "I'll just build you guys a rink."
Wow.
And he's a genius, man. My uncle's OG. He showed me designs for he designed a Nerf kind of football thing before that was a patent.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
A bunch of calf leg massagers. He's a genius, but he built that from scratch.
Nerf football and calf leg massagers.
Yeah, no, just everything, man. He's he's a really smart dude. And he built that from the ground up, and it's a feat, dude.
So an ice rink, how does that even come into play?
Gosh, I don't know. So actually, that's one of my first experiences DJing. My uncle didn't want to pay a DJ or whatever, so he just had me up there, and I wasn't on turntables or anything, but I was just picking out CDs.
Yeah,
I remember
putting together playlists.
Oh yeah, it was it was now. I don't think there was any numbers yet.
Now
it was that. Now, I forget
all the hits.
A bunch of other compilation discs he got, because I know he had they had like a music subscription where they get CDs or whatever, but I just filter through them. I make playlists.
So you were always into music?
Oh, always, yeah. I mean, I grew up. My parents had me play piano and stuff growing up. Played violin, guitar.
Oh, really?
All that, yeah.
Damn, that's one thing I never did was played an instrument, and I've always wanted to.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, I feel like piano is a good base. As far as like reading and playing music, piano is a good base just because like once you figure out the patterns and how that works, you kind of apply it to everything.
Yeah, it kind of keeps your gives you timing and shit.
Yeah.
Whenever I had ADMC in here, or Adam C, however the fuck it is, and then he was saying that he's a drummer. Like he started in drumline, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like that makes such.
Yeah, that's all.
Like
just
if you had
cadence and
instruments,
tempo,
it's the same shit. It probably helps you out so much.
Absolutely.
Now, when was your first like brush with music? I mean, like, were you like super young into music?
Oh yeah, I remember my cousins from I think like Rhode Island or something.
Yeah,
came over. They were a lot older. They were in like their teens. I was probably still, I don't know, 7 or 8. But they came in with their violins. And my family always does this thing where, you know, it's a family reunion. Everyone does like their talent or whatever. So someone would play the piano.
Oh, really?
My little sister would sing. And I really I didn't have anything. I just played hockey. And like they came in and they played Canon and D on violin. There was 2 of them. And they were like, did the duet. And I was just like, yo.
Yeah, that's fucking
this
crazy.
This is nuts. And I was like, yo, mom, dad, like I want a violin. So.
And how old were you?
Probably like 7, 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did you play?
I'd played till I was in college.
Holy shit! So you're like you're not fucking around with like hot cross buns.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah,
oh, that's fucking crazy. Yeah. The sickest. I always wanted to play the violin because of a movie called Starship Troopers. You ever see that?
I have. I'm terrible with movies, man.
Well, this dude breaks out like a neon. Like the frame of this violin was neon colored, and like he's just started playing. Like he's just. I think it's the fuck was his name? I don't know. He's some famous actor, but it's his son, and he's just playing this, and it just sounded so dope. But this is a muscle bound dude, and it's just dope. Like it was the coolest violin playing, portrait that I've ever seen.
That's cool. I need to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. You still play?
Occasionally, I have an electric violin stashed in my house that I'll whip out for like tracks or whatever if I'm producing, feeling like lost on. Because I just mostly write my music now on like I have a 62 key keyboard and a little 25 key keyboard with like a drum pad.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to. And I have a guitar as well, but if I'm feeling like in a rut or something, I'll bring it out.
Get the creative side out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to the bare bones. I always see like all the big ass like, you know, equipment that all these DJs have, and like I see all you motherfuckers up there like scratching on these records and then like turning these knobs and like pressing buttons, and you're just like, what the hell is
dude,
all
that stuff is brand new, man. Like even because I was going through my equipment the other day, and even my mixer just from like 5 years ago was so much different.
Yeah,
just the fact that like
you're saying all the techie like like the buttons and all that shit coming in.
Yeah, that's all like relatively new, and it's dope because like you get to mess with music like in any way you want as an artist, because I feel like DJs are artists because
absolutely
you know, you get to manipulate it and mix it in any way you want, and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Now I guess like do DJs now still use like vinyl and shit like that?
Yeah, vinyl's still like up there. I think it might be more popular than ever now, but for convenience, man, like those little controllers are cool. Like,
yeah,
if you know what you're doing, you can make it work with anything, bro. Like,
that's a good point.
I think the argument of, oh, you gotta be like an old school vinyl DJ, like, that's cool. Like, I get it, okay, but
yeah, like busting out like a Biggie record and scratching with it, and you're like, I get it a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I still collect records. I still dig. I love that sound. I love records. I love, you know, the physical aspect of music, which I feel like is lost.
Do you think that records are? I mean, it's the most inconvenient way to ever
Absolutely,
listen to music.
Yeah, it is so inconvenient because it erodes, and then you have the needle. But I don't know, it just sounds so good, and it's just like how.
But does it sound better than what you hear on like an Apple Music?
I think if you're like a true audiophile, personally, I can barely tell. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is just because it's a physical media. The needle is. Like
it has
it's amplified by
it's
whatever.
Powerful.
Yeah,
it's powerful. Just
and also
from
like that crackle.
piece.
Like I compare it to like an electric guitar and acoustic guitar. that crackle on the vinyl just brings, it's like a warmth. It's like there's like a resonance to
I like
it that's
that.
like really like peaceful, you know?
I like that for sure. I guess, like you see people now, you see like the people that are into vinyl, and like I got a stack of vinyl and shit, but like honestly, dude, I don't listen to too much of it because it's like it's a crazy
It's a
commitment.
lot. Yeah.
Like
You have what, 3-4 tracks on one side, you got to flip it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just snagged all the vinyl from my dad. Like, he got, like, old, like, Aussie shit, like, Doors, like, Led Zeppelin, all this stuff. And I was like, damn, like, I'm going to come home and I'm going to listen to this Jimi Hendrix. Like, he has a greatest hits vinyl from, like, back in the day. So I'm just listening to all this, and it is so sick to, like, sit there right next to it. And, like, I mean, it listening to a record like kind of makes you appreciate it more because you're like sitting through with it. It's not something that you could just like skip tracks all the time. And
Yeah,
like,
right. You're right.
You have to digest it whenever you want to listen.
Absolutely,
to a
that's a good point.
And I like it. I mean, it's cool. It's inconvenient for me, but it's cool.
Inconvenience for a lot, but yeah, it is the motions. And I mean, me being a DJ, it's almost like a ritual to like lighting a candle or something. You
for
know?
sure,
like,
dude.
You're definitely taking time out of your schedule to.
I like
do that.
I like collecting things though. See, like I get more addicted to like collecting. So like, some of them vinyl.
Just looking at a bunch of fucking shit ton of records. Looks
it looks
dope,
fucking
you know?
dope right there. And like I'm part of like Jack White's like Third Man Record fan club.
Oh hell yeah, dope.
And like he sends one every quarter. And like last one was the Raconteurs, like they just came out with a new tape, and like his next one is like this old band that he was in, but it's like like I'll listen to him, and it's just like it's dope to have that type of shit. But I don't know, it's hard for me. It's like almost the feeling I get whenever I try to buy DVDs now.
Right.
It's like I love them. I love having the physical copy, and I love having people be able to like walk over there and see, like, because you could tell a lot about someone from their movie collection,
absolutely,
or their music collection,
right?
And I mean, like, if everyone just got this on their Apple fucking account and you go on there, I don't know, it feels different than
definitely. It's like any physical media. There's such a different attachment to it. I mean, even like video games, like you looking at the covers, and sometimes you don't even know, you just buy it just because the cover looks cool. Like
that's a good point.
There's like kind of
I did that with Manhunt, a game for PS2 called Manhunt.
Oh, really?
It was just like some weird dude with like almost like a bag over his head and like a beater.
That's
and
tight.
I bought this game, and it was just like you just run around and kill people. It's basically just a violent version of Manhunt, but
right.
Whatever. So, what was your first CD that you ever bought?
Shaggy from Eckert. Oh man, it was clean.
Eckert.
Yeah,
He had the
I was
name
with my
drop
mom.
with
I was
Eckert.
with my mom. I remember, was it Angel? It was like the one with Angel on it with the green, the orange. It was like the orange CD
orange,
cover,
and it had like blue font almost, like the bubbly font.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
It was a clean version, so like everything was edited. But before that, I bought TLC Waterfalls. That was like a cassette. I bought the cassette.
Yeah, it was red. It was a red cover with their three faces.
That was like
fire.
my first. That was like the first. I wore that tape out. That and a bunch of Boyz II Men tapes.
How did you get turned on to like music? Like who was feeding you the music?
My pops originally, and then my cousins that were like the older ones that skated at that ice rink.
Yeah.
So my pops was just like a jazz dude. A lot of George Benson, Al Jarreau. George Benson, Pittsburgh. Shout out.
Yeah.
Al Jarreau. Just, I don't know, just really good jazz.
Did he play instruments?
No, he was just a jazzy dude. Filipino dads love jazz.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, jazz.
Even like all my uncles, like, well, like whenever I visit, I'm like, oh, you want, this record? I'm like, no, man. Like, how do you know this? It's wild. Jazz, disco.
That's cool though.
Yeah, a lot of that early on, and then the rest of my music were just from my older cousins. They moved. When they sold the ice rink, I think it was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
They left like all their CDs and stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that was like a monumental part of like my music taste, because it was all like, oh man, from Raekwon to Red Hot Chili Peppers to
so a good variety of shit.
Yeah, it was just back and forth. Sublime.
Oh,
and this was
dope.
like some of my first, because I wasn't allowed to buy that music. Like I told you, I was with my mom and she made me buy the clean version.
Yeah.
So when I had that handed down, I'm like, oh shit, like you're allowed to say this stuff?
Yeah, she can't vet all of that music. Yeah. Now, whenever you're now let me get a little bit before that. So if you're in school and shit like that, like what else were you into besides like working at the ice skating rink? Were you playing sports or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean hockey, obviously.
Oh yeah, you told me fucking hockey.
That was a big part of me growing up, and golf as well.
Golf.
Yeah.
You're a golfer.
I played golf in college, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. We're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah.
I just got into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Nice.
just got into it probably about 2.5 years ago, and I've never loved anything more in my entire life.
It's amazing, man. It's a good game.
It's hard to break into. Once you break that boundary of being able to hit a shot somewhat accurately, that's when people start to love it because
Right.
it's easy to hate.
Yeah, so easy. It's frustrating, man.
How old were you when you started?
Maybe I remember I got my first, like, it wasn't like a real golf set. My first communion,
First communion.
I got like it was like a 3-4 set. Like
You
they
got
were
some
like
clubs?
actual clubs though.
You got some clubs? Wow.
Yeah, so I
How
definitely
old are
like.
you?
I mean,
like 12 there, probably?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
can't even
maybe younger.
remember.
I
can't
don't
remember
know.
that. I think I got a safe for mine. I got a safe, and I remember my aunt gave me this little puzzle that you had to like get a ball bearing through this maze, and once you did that, a $5 bill
Oh,
popped out.
great! Yeah, all this work.
All that wild ass shit for $5, but I was grateful. Golf, though, I mean, like I couldn't even imagine what it would be like playing when you're young. I mean, like doing anything really when you're young is just so much easier than doing when you're an adult.
Absolutely.
But I fucking.
It's a mental thing too, man. It's all mental at the end of the day. Once you get the motions down,
I mean, you could be playing for 15 years, but it's like an elevator.
Yeah.
It's like one day you're on and one day you're fucking about to snap your club.
yeah, I feel you.
I
on
hated
that.
it in high school, and I would go with my friends and just drive around a cart. But now, like, I would seriously pick golf over anything else in the world, I think. I feel like it's the most relaxing thing in the world, and I fucking suck, but I enjoy it. I do.
Yeah, it's cool.
Before we
As
get,
an adult, it's a lot different because you get to drink beer and fuck around and shit, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I played a lot of competitive golf, which was fun, man, and it definitely like contributed to my ability to like have like tunnel vision and focus because like it's a lot of that.
like the focus to accomplish a goal,
Right.
for sure. That's I guess like, yeah, playing golf will be wild. I played football my entire life. I just like don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I was younger, I just did it to do it because I was a big ass dude, and I was
Right.
like, what else am I gonna do? I wrestled for a little bit, but I can't tell you the last time I watched a Steeler game. Like I just
Me
don't give
too,
a
dude.
shit about it.
Yeah.
But whenever like when you're younger and you're getting into all this music and shit, you said your uncle like pulled you in to kind of like play music and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was your first brush of being like somewhat of a DJ.
Yeah.
Like what were you playing stuff off of?
So it was just CD. It was a CD player, a multi CD, maybe like 6 or 8. I forget. But I remember there was a window on the CD player that I cracked open
Yeah.
so I could scratch on the CDs.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'd like kind of cue in, and you'd have to time it perfectly just because like the CD would change. And it wasn't mixing by any means, but like at that age, like you could tell like I wanted to like fuck with music. I wanted to like play
Yeah, it
with
was
it.
adding an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I mean that you did that with cassette tapes too, man. Like, I remember recording like whammo shit on fucking cassette and like
yeah, and doing it
just
like
having
that. Old school way. That's crazy. I mean, that's cool though. Now, whenever you were doing all this DJ shit, like, were you like you knew that you were going to pursue that? Like,
No, not at all.
what did you
Yeah.
want to do?
At that time, probably I don't know, become some pro hockey player, or like maybe later on in high school. Like my I guess my goals changed, but at that time, probably just I really loved hockey, man.
Yeah, you played for a while.
Yeah.
I never played. I mean, I played roller hockey and shit like that, but I was always a goalie. I was
Yeah.
never able to skate at all.
Yeah.
It's an acquired
It was cool.
taste.
I was quick. I'm tiny, so like I was quick, and whenever I'd hit dudes, they'd like just by default flip over me, you know. So it was like fun watching me play.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. So while you're in like high school and shit like that, like when did you first start like kind of like taking the music playing seriously? Like when did that whole come in? When did that all come in?
Let's see. I was real into like emo music and
Oh, like what kind?
I don't know, man. Like Atreyu, Avenged Sevenfold, Seosin, that type shit.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, yeah, angsty. No, but
Right, you're
I bought a
talking-
guitar. I bought an electric guitar. I remember I was like mowing lawns, and I bought this like ill ass Ibanez. I still have it actually. It's the same guitar I write all my music on now.
That's dope.
This dope like blacked out Ibanez guitar. I changed the pickups to be all black, just like that. It was like that time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sick though.
And my sister and I rented out there used to be a community student center across from Gateway. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah.
We rented that out and like we held like band auditions. My sister had like a electronic drum set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and dude, and like a bunch of kids showed out. We did like a couple gigs here and there, but
how old are you?
Really don't try 16, 17.
Man, that's so fucking dope. I was so into like the music scene, but I was never into it. But like my best friends were in bands,
right?
And like they were just like active bands that were always playing and shit. So I got to see all the cool shit.
Yeah,
like shows being played all the time. That's probably such a cool feeling.
Oh yeah, I was. We probably honestly maybe might have been around the same circles at that time.
Absolutely,
I just didn't even know.
It probably got to be like. Were you writing were you writing lyrics and shit?
I was writing music. I was hanging around. My buddy had a studio in Monroeville. It's called Set to Sound. Who was like their main? I know they did a lot of work with like. Oh man, I'm reaching in the bank.
The emo bands.
Emo, like pop.
I'll rattle them off right now. Belie My Burial, Remember Thy Name, Nothing Unexpected.
This is the Morning Light.
Morning Light,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I remember them. Their drummer, my sister was really good friends with too. I forget his name. Nick.
They just played a 10-year reunion with Punchline.
Punchline, that's it. Punchline, yeah.
Punchline,
I remember seeing those dudes would come through my boy's studio and like I'd be like, yo, damn, I didn't know how to go see him play.
Man. I think I love
it was a good time.
I love the music scene so much because like back in like 2008, 2007, 2006, it was every weekend there was somewhere to go and
American Music Cafe. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
There was Octane. There was like Club Cafe, or not Club Cafe, but what the fuck was that place? The Subculture. Like,
oh yeah, I remember hearing about it. I don't think I was like allowed to go there.
Well, that place was fucked up. It was basically just like a garage where people were just. I remember I bought this camera. It was the first like show my buddies were playing, and it was like a sketchy ass place. You know, like all like grungy ass white kids fight dancing, and you're just like trying to not get punched in the face.
That's it.
It was like that was like the first exposure of like. You know, the real like hardcore like music scene, and you're like, fuck, this is weird as fuck. Then that's whenever people are getting like identified, like, oh, that's whatever's MySpace name and this MySpace.
Oh yeah,
name.
that
You know
was
what I mean?
MySpace. Yeah,
And, like,
I need to find. I had a band MySpace. I wrote like a 3-song EP.
What was your band called?
It was just me. It was just Vincent Gancian Music or whatever. Like
that's your real name.
My MySpace. Yeah, don't look that up.
Okay,
no,
don't
just
look
kidding. Bleep that out. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was just me, and it was my boys. That studio I'd go to. Just taught me how to use that was the beginning of MIDI equipment. So like I do my own drums.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I'd like play like a guitar riff or whatever. It was cool. It was like trappy. Oh, like at that time I didn't see it as such, but it was like slower, like emo music, which like I need to find again. And like I need to sample it because I know it's
that would
good.
be dope to have the old shit and just sample.
I can't find it though because like MySpace just
they deleted
everything. Yeah,
it's fucked up. One day I wasn't able to sign into mine.
Yeah,
you still find my like I have an Acacia Strain shirt on and I have a mohawk in the picture, but like. It just
I'm wearing a Senses Fail t-shirt on mine. I think.
Senses Fail. I promise you, that's my top 5.
Dude, absolutely.
That's so unreal. Do you listen to their new music?
No, man. I honestly haven't, and I don't know if I can, man.
Let It Enfold You. It's like,
how recent is that?
Let It Enfold You is their old shit.
Oh
that's
no.
Like,
what's their new shit?
I don't know because I don't listen to it. It ain't no good. I mean, I can't say it ain't no good. They're still out there making shit happen.
Touring, yeah.
And
I
that's
definitely
dope.
I saw them somewhere. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go
Do you
see
think
them.
it's bizarre? Like whenever you think about it, like us, like I mean, 10 years ago, 18, I think that there's no end in time, and like now I'm about to be like 30, and I'm just like, man, getting old is fucking weird. And I like see like Newfound Glory touring again, and I'm just like, these dudes have to be like 46, like 47.
But they're banking. I mean,
they're banking
because we have money now, and that
all
nostalgia
those kids,
is such a big thing.
That's a good point. We have money now. It's like the kids that were like scrounging money to get to them shows in the beginning. Now we could afford I could never buy T-shirts whenever I went to shows.
Yeah.
And like now it's just
it's
like
a thing. Like you go, you get merch and you watch a show. Like,
did you ever listen to the Ghost Inside?
I can't say I have.
They're heavier. They probably didn't start like popping for me until like 2012, but like I fucking just like spent a bunch of money on a plane ticket and flew to California to see them.
Damn.
And well, they got in a car wreck and shit, and like a crazy tour bus accident, and they didn't play for like 3-4 years, and then this was like their coming back show.
Right.
It was fucking insane, but no one could ever do that back then. It was hard enough to even get somewhere to Charleroi to see a fucking show.
Charleroi.
Yeah, crazy, dude, crazy.
True.
Now, I mean, I have to ask you, where does the Pokemon come into play? Because you seem pretty like into it heavy.
Oh man, that was early on. So
were you at the Burger King trade 'em nights and shit?
No, I wasn't on that. Like my parents were real picky as far as what I could do, but I came across Pokemon through my cousins that came from the Philippines, and it was like they had the Game Boy before I was out, because shit comes out there before it gets here.
It comes
or
out
at least
the
they have
Philippines
access to it. Yeah,
before
in Asia, Japan, China.
Oh yeah, I
but
guess that's a
they
good
have
point.
access to it. You know?
Yeah.
So they brought that here, and I remember playing it. It was still in Japanese, but I just remember like the motions and like right off the bat knowing what you needed to do as far as the video game, just like walking around, starting the house.
Yeah,
I just remember it being so intuitive, and it was, all right, like I just got attached to it there.
Yeah,
and of course, like it was just everything, man. The anime, the comic. I have all the comic books,
and I mean the cards, like
the cards. Oh, obviously the cards.
The cards is like just as, I mean, it's as pivotal as like MySpace, or like like when you think of your life back in the day, there's things like AIM, MySpace, shit like that. Pokemon cards or like Magic cards or whatever your fucking poison was, that was a big point in life, at least for some people.
I mean, it was a social thing, man. I mean, unless you were like a weirdo and just collecting for yourself. But they got, I remember they got banned from my school.
Absolutely. We had Pokemon cards banned because kids were going crazy. I got all my fucking tech decks taken by my fucking history teacher, Mr. Della Lucia. He was so cool for all the time. He was so cool. And one day I just had, it was like this tech deck box I bought off my friend for like $5, held like every one of your skateboards, all the extra wheels.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, the motherfucker took it, and I don't think I've ever got it back from him. I think he threw it away.
That's whack.
I should ask him to come on here.
I'm actually ill with the tech deck too, man.
You like tech deck?
Oh yeah.
You know that there's still people that are like
my boy Hutch is
Jesse Hutchins.
Phenomenal. Yeah, dude,
you already
that's my
know
guy.
I went to school with him. That was dude, that was like back whenever my tech decks got taken, he was in my corner.
That's wild.
Like we went to the same school and shit.
He's ill with it, dude. Yeah,
it was
we have sessions, bro.
That's who I was just talking about. That, I mean, that's who I was just about to bring up. Like boys are still getting it with tech decks.
Wow, dude, he got like a sponsorship.
That Alibaba Techs or something.
Dude,
they're like real tech decks made out of like the wood with the grip.
I got a couple, man. Yeah, they sent them because I put them on. I'm not like trying to take credit or anything for it, but like I recorded an Instagram video with using a regular ass tech deck.
Yeah,
and like this company that sells like miniature, like real ass, like wooden.
Yeah, they're real skateboards just on a
hit
smaller
me up.
scale.
They're like, yo, like try these out. We'll send them to you. What's your address? I'm like, oh, word, cool, like whatever. They sent them to me, and they're like $60 fucking little mini skateboards, but they're dope.
Yeah,
like they're insane.
He puts together some wild ass videos. Anyway,
I've seen his setup, dude. It's just nuts.
Yeah, he got fucking a whole park there, freestyle park. It looks like Street League on his fucking countertop.
It's so cool, man.
All right, so before we get way too far into it, I do an opening segment with everyone. It's called "What's in the Cup." What's in the cup? What's in your cup?
Turner's iced tea.
Turner's iced tea, the OG, the thug jug of it. You've been drinking Turner's for a minute?
So long, man. I mean, it's just the thing. I don't know.
I was gonna ask, you like what was more popular in your high school, but it had to be Turner's because
that's all
Penn
it was.
Hills is right there.
That's all it was. Yeah,
Turner's Dairy right there.
I'd have one of these, and because I'd save my money low key for like shoes and shit, so I'd have a Turner's iced tea and hot Cheetos. It was like less than $2.
Yeah, so
I'd save like $1.50 on lunch.
That's a meal,
and just stash that every day and get a fucking new pair of shoes.
now, I mean, you're probably one of the most fashionable people. Like you're pretty progressive into fashion. Like you post wild ass shit. So now that abstract account that you have, what is that? That's just like random ass wild shit.
Yeah, well, it's absurd.
Absurd.
So,
sorry, I'm sorry.
So it was just like this idea I had one night. I've always been to more. It's not designer. It's more design and like how things are made. What's the function? What's the format?
Yeah.
I ran this clothing line called Neon Social with my buddy Preslov. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, DJ.
Yeah. It was like a custom cut and sew type shit. We picked out all the fabrics. I designed like it's a brand new cut of t-shirt. I do. We didn't do the shirts. We had like a factory in LA that did them.
Okay.
But we had our friend Michaela Ray. She's from. She lives in New York now, but she's from here originally. Okay. Helped us design like this new silhouette of a shirt that kind of was designed to like not skirt out, but if that makes sense, how shirts kind of skirt out.
Yeah, they widen at the bottom.
It was cool. We made a couple shirts, a couple hoodies, had like a pop-up shop downtown.
No, but you've been into fashion for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's just design. Like, I mean, I like
fashion's
cool furniture.
Yeah, fashion's a broad
right.
Right. Design. You like cool shit now. I mean, whenever I say fashion, it's a loose term as far as like clothes and shit like that. Like you're hip with all the dope shit. So like, where did that come from and when did that come in? Like, were you doing that in like middle school and shit? Like, were you conscious of what you were wearing?
I was actually, and I think it's just because of who I was surrounded with.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of like kids that wore fresh shit all the time that like got new outfits for Kennywood.
Now middle school had to be like what, Tom Hilfiger, like Johnny Blaze. Like,
no, I don't think that. It was more. I don't think Tommy was kind of trash then, to be honest. It was more like Rockaware, Fat Farm, South Pole, for me at least.
Yeah. Like
7th, 8th grade G Unit. I remember having hella G Unit shit.
Were you, now, your sister is older or younger?
She's younger.
Okay, so that makes sense. My brother's 6 years older, so like that's why I was put on to like, Echo, Johnny Blaze, like fucking all that shit, because I was just emulating what he was wearing.
Right.
But that's a good point. Like, I remember everyone had Fat Farms with the color peas on there. Yep. Oh God, that's terrible. Them green and white Fat Farms, and you're just like, God.
Yeah, what are those?
South Pole, all that shit. I wore it all though. Like I wore it. Did you wear Janko?
South Pole, I definitely did. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was early. That was maybe like earlier 7th grade. Like
yeah, mine was 6th, 7th grade. I think 6th grade was the first day of school on 6th grade or 7th grade. I wore blue jean Jankos with Dyson Dragons on the back pocket and a matching shirt.
Yeah.
And it was hot as fuck out, and I was dying. I remember like it was yesterday. Now,
worth it, though.
Were you into skateboarding or anything like that?
I skated for a little bit. I got, I still have the mark on my knee. I got hella broken. I was just like, fuck this from now on. Yeah. But I mean, I like landed a kickflip, like that's no problem.
There you go.
Could definitely like, what else? I don't know, 50-50 on some like tiny shit.
You were in the culture though of it.
Oh yeah, no, not like 100%. Like just on my street around with my homies and shit.
Yeah, that's dope though.
Yeah.
Now, what were you listening to? Like, what was your shit like growing up? Like middle school. Like
middle school was like Jay-Z Black Album, all the G Unit shit, Lloyd Banks.
Yeah.
I used to sell bootleg CDs in middle school, man. So all that shit I had first.
Young hustler.
I was that dude, man. If you look at I was just looking at my yearbooks the other day when I was going through my stuff with my parents, and it was all these kids being like, "Yo, thanks for the CDs. Yo, Vince, you still owe me a couple." You like, where's that new Lloyd Banks album?
That's dope, though.
That was like my hustle, man.
How are you getting music?
Napster, BearShare, whatever it was.
It's always interesting to hear because, like, I remember that, and like, there was times where you would download a CD and you would have to like preview it to make sure it wasn't trash.
Porn, yeah.
Some random ass like,
dude, that definitely crashed my dad's computer a couple times, and I was just like, Dad, I don't know, man. I was just doing my math homework and it turned off.
Dude, just on AIM. I don't know what happened. Whole screen turns black.
Yeah.
That's funny though. That's definitely good. Now, did you like school?
I liked learning. I don't know if I liked the format at school.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, like, I mean, I definitely enjoyed just, I don't know, learning new shit because I don't know anything,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I didn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I regret it more than anything is like.
But you don't learn that's like, in retrospect, you don't learn the shit that you need to know as an adult. Like, where's the class on fucking
taxes?
How taxes work? Yeah.
How to buy a car, a house.
Yeah. Well, on like what the fuck your student loans mean. Like, why didn't they tell you that? Like,
dude, I talk about it all the time. It's just like, I'm too busy doing Y equals MX plus B. I'll tell you one thing. I draw pipes all day, every day for 6 years.
Use that?
I've never used anything in there. Like, it's fucking crazy. The only thing that was helpful was like geometry, But other than that, like
geometry, definitely like all the language, like
that's what I mean. As far as like math and shit,
right,
but y equals mx plus b, like
no,
fuck out of here with that.
Concept wise and understanding formulas, I get.
Yeah.
But that like. Yeah, no. Teach us how to fucking.
It was
do
just
our
weird.
taxes.
It was just weird, dude. School was weird as fuck, and I think it's bizarre that we have to force kids to be like what the fuck are you gonna do whenever you graduate? Like you're either gonna do something or you're gonna become a waste and fucking work at McDonald's, and you're like, what the fuck? That's scary sounding.
I'm gonna sign this piece of paper now. All right,
$100,000 through college. Like you're fucked now. It's crazy to think about that,
but it's also like I feel like an exposure thing. Like if you've had, I was like me and my sister were the first of our family to go to college in America.
Yeah.
So like no one knew. No one was like, "Yo, like do this before, do that before." We all went in it blind. My sister kind of like, since I went first, she kind of like had a rough
little taste of it.
Yeah, but. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just wish I knew more about whatever I was getting into. And I guess I also didn't care at the time, just being young and just wanting to get shit over with,
Yeah, you're just there serving time, it feels like.
Yeah.
Now, in school, like, what was your plans? Like, what were you planning on, like, doing after school?
I wanted to go in medicine. I wanted to become a doctor, like, go into physical therapy.
Oh, yeah.
I was really into just, like, not sports per se, but like the biomechanics of sports, the motions, the movements, all that. The muscle, not like muscle, like bodybuilding, but just like how all that shit works,
how it works
and comes
and
together. I had a lot of respect and appreciation for that, and that's what I wanted to do.
That's dope. I mean, like, so where did you go to school? Did you go to school for that?
Yeah, I went to Pitt. I majored in biology. It was dope, man. I mean. I worked in a couple like healthcare facilities. Just I don't know, it just wasn't for me, man.
Yeah. You made it all the way through though?
Yeah, did what I had to do.
All right, that's what's up. And I mean, like, what did you dislike about it?
Oh man, I remember I was interning for this one physical therapist. I'm not gonna say their name because
don't say it.
Yeah,
come on now, don't say
it. No, what's up? No, I'm just kidding. But. I was just getting coffee for them. I wasn't learning anything.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's all it was. And I don't know, just the whole the insurance thing, and there's just this whole thing with doctors and stuff that I don't know. It's a mess. It just wasn't for me. It was a scheme. Yeah.
That's a good way to say it. It's a scheme.
Yeah, healthcare in itself. But I wanted to help people, and at the end of the day, I saw people's motives. The people that were in power,
they're just in it to make money.
Yeah, and I was like, man, like I can help people in another way.
Bad energy.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's amazing doctors out here. There's so like Pittsburgh's known for like our amazing healthcare, but I guess it was just the people that I was surrounded by. I might have got just.
So you played golf at Pitt?
Yeah.
Wow, like you played golf, like you were good. Like, did you have to be good to get on the team?
Yeah, it was like I was like almost scratched at the time.
What does that mean?
Like 73, 74, like a little bit over, like par,
like 1 or 2 over.
Yeah.
Wow.
In high school, I was better in high school, I think, because I got fat in college.
It's all right. Whatever, we all did. So I mean, like, now is it true that if you're like in high school, like what was like a practice? You had to walk.
You're walking in college too.
Yeah.
So
why now? Maybe you might know this. In tournaments, why aren't people allowed to use carts?
I don't know what the reasoning is for it.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Maybe just keep shit nice.
Yeah, just to keep it like traditional or whatnot.
Yeah,
but I honestly enjoy walking just because it gives you time to gather your thoughts.
Yeah, probably because you're good enough to be able to, hit a ball where you want it to go. But
that's a good point. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm just walking on the short shit.
You're fucking walking where you. Oh, I'm gonna hit by that tree. I'll walk to that tree. Me, it could be like 60 yards completely to the right. So it gets fucked up whenever you get into that. But,
yeah, I kind of lose my tempo on the cart just because I've been walking so long. Like, there's a certain tempo that I need to have to play good when I play golf.
Do you still play?
So here's the problem with golf is mad expensive. So when I grew up, I played on this. There was a minority golf league around like Woodland Hills, Monroeville area. I guess like it was all greater Pittsburgh, I guess.
Yeah.
But we played like little tournaments and stuff, and everything was so cheap. I think we played like a lot of courses for $1. Like we show them a card.
Damn.
And then in college, everything was free.
It was a minority golf league.
Yeah, it was dope.
Wow. I didn't know that was even a
my
thing.
my one buddy, he's actually like a pro down in Florida now. He was from West Mifflin.
Wow.
But he's like a full-fledged like pro golfer. Like it's mad cool.
Dude, it's crazy to me. I worked at a Italian Village Pizza, and the dude who owned it just had the Golf Channel on all the time, and I wanted to fucking die. That was before I liked it.
Right.
Now I watch it for hours.
Different appreciation, yeah.
I could watch it for hours. Just people putting, people fucking chipping.
It's like, yeah.
It's really bizarre. Now, I mean, like, you're out of school and shit like that. You figure out you didn't want to do the medical shit. Like, so what's next?
So while I was in school, I started DJing like frat part. I joined a frat, Kappa Sigma.
Now, before you got into college, were you DJing at all, like in high school and shit?
No.
Okay.
I was like, I was still in music. I was playing violin. I played in orchestra too at Pitt, just 1 year.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was work, man.
It's pretty crazy.
That's work.
I saw. Now, tell me if this is anything accurate. I saw. What the fuck's that drum movie?
With Nick Cannon?
No, not fucking Drumline. Even though that's low key, that's fire. I don't care. I'm talking about that movie with Miles Teller. It's called like Backlash or whatever it's called. But
Can't
like
say.
it's yeah. You say you're not hip with the movies.
Not movie buff.
It looked real intense though. Like collegiate music looked
Right.
real intense. Pretty much like how any collegiate thing is. Is it pretty crazy?
It's not like marching band by any means where you're like, you're
Whiplash.
like literally like battling against the next band. It's like, it's more just that you're in the orchestra and you.
It's not. So it's not like Drumline.
Yeah, it's not.
like
but
Drumline.
it's definitely. You're practicing a lot.
Yeah. Like, what's the schedule for it? Like, if you're in sports and then you're doing orchestra shit, it's like, if you're doing sports, it's all the time, I figure. Like,
Yeah, well, that was more in the morning. I'd try to sneak in because we had access to the course whenever. Like, we just sign our name.
Oh, that's
so
dope.
I'd go in the morning, maybe like 5, 6 in the morning, right when the sun comes out.
Are you an early guy?
It depends. Just whatever I'm fucking doing, man.
The night before?
Yeah, just it's whatever. But I can honestly do whatever. Yeah, so I'd knock a practice round, maybe just like a quick 9 holes or something. Go to class.
What course did Pitt play at?
I went to Pitt Bradford, so it was. I forget what the fucking course was. Whatever Bradford.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though. You ever get a hole in one?
No, it came close.
Came close?
Yeah.
That's what's up. I feel like I
at
would
Grandview,
die.
actually. Whatever that par 3 is.
Fucking the one down the hill.
Downhill, yeah.
Fuck that place.
Yeah.
I'd rather never golf again.
That's
than
where
go there.
Woodland Hills played. That was their home course. I love that course.
Ugh.
They'd always.
Hey, you want to know why you liked it? Because you're decent. Yeah, that's why. Because if you're not decent, you're losing at least
Every
a
ball.
dozen balls.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But anyway, that's how you know. That's how I know that you're
Right.
pretty good at golf.
True.
But that hole is weird. That course is weird in general.
Yeah.
Bizarre. But all right, so like you're done with orchestra and you're fucking done with sports and you joined a frat.
Yeah.
Now, how was that?
It was weird. At the time, I just wanted to be kind of like cool and in or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel I still keep in touch with all those dudes. Those dudes are like my homies.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's not something I like donate to or whatever, but
I'm sure it's like
cool, man. Like it was cool. It's just a group of dudes, and I gained a lot of like my early like party knowledge and reading crowds because that's a lot of what DJing is through DJing those parties. You know,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a real good point. So you took up their responsibilities for music pretty much.
Yeah, I was like, dude, we had 3 parties and I'm like, yo, this is whack. Like, I remember it was just like Pandora or whatever, but I'm like, this sucks. And I remember looking up like DJ softwares and downloading one real quick and just, I don't know, going from there.
Yeah. And like you guys were throwing parties and you just started DJing and that's pretty much like how you got into it?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And then
Wow.
I'd go to other fraternities and I don't know, just then from fraternities went to bars.
And then it kind of spider webbed out.
Yeah, and then I'd come back in the city and DJ in Oakland and Southside.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. When so I mean, like, when did you say you were getting like starting to get like, you know, gigs where you're going to like bars and shit, not just like parties?
Like 2009, 10-ish. Like I remember one of my first like big gigs. It was like a huge gig for me at the time. Was Heinz Ward's Southside 86. It was like, it's closed now, but then it like, I think it closed and then it was called Levels after.
Oh, I remember that.
But before it was owned by Heinz Ward. My parents actually came to this gig because they were expecting to meet Heinz Ward. It's so hilarious. But yeah, my boy Xavier, he's in Florida now. He was like one of my mentors.
He said they came to meet Heinz
Yeah, it was hilarious actually. They were so disappointed when he didn't show up. Stayed for 4 fucking hours. Like, where's Jerome Bettis? Like, I don't know.
That's dope though. I mean, how did you get that?
Through my boy Xavier. He was just like I think he went to IUP or something. He was just like at the time, I think he just got out of college. I was still in college, obviously. But he just was like a local DJ here. He like ran the South Side.
That's what's up.
As far as DJ gigs, and just put me on as far as what it took to like hustle and make it work as a working class DJ.
Now, did you like pick up on it pretty quick? Would you say?
I mean, the DJing aspect of it, I did. As far as like technical stuff mixing, just because I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can kind of hear when something doesn't go well together or whatnot.
Yeah.
But the business side took me a while. Like, definitely a bunch of dips and dives in that.
I bet.
Yeah.
Dealing with all kinds of fucking people.
Yeah, for sure.
Real interesting people. The old nightclub business.
Yeah, it's wild. But it's good. It's cool.
That's cool, though. I mean, you're obviously, like, still doing it, so we're 10 years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how did you, like, what was it like from whenever you were starting out, like, as far as, like, I mean, how do I even want to say it? It's like you're basically just trying to make a name for yourself. I mean, besides the South Side and shit, like, you're just...
Well, that's all it was at the time. Like, there wasn't a Lawrenceville yet. When I was like,
you know, that's a good idea. I mean, it's a good point.
So like I was DJing at like, I remember like Jimmy D's, S Bar. I think what is S Bar now? It's
Devils and Dolls.
Something, yeah.
Or I don't even think it's that
something
anymore.
new now. S Bar.
Whatever. One of the 9 names.
Bunch of those like old ass, and it was cool because it was like I was in college and it was a college crowd.
Yeah.
Or I was just out of college, whatever. Like and. I could relate, you know, and it was a fun time. Definitely had a fucking blast.
Yeah, I bet. Now, were you like getting paid for these?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Now, after you're out of college and shit like that, are you doing anything else for money, or you just you're living off being a DJ?
I was living off being a DJ for a little bit until I needed health insurance.
Yeah. Oh shit. Fucking.
Yeah.
Insurance.
I mean, I was traveling. It was awesome, man. I was traveling with my boy Beatty.
Yeah.
We were like just touring and doing shit.
Now
I did a bunch of shows with this dude Pittsburgh Slim.
I remember
Before
him.
I was touring with Beatty.
I remember him
With Pittsburgh Slim.
Now, whenever you say you were touring with Beatty, like different states?
Yeah. We had
okay.
a couple of
Where'd
tours
you
mapped
go?
out. Oh man, we hit up. What was the one tour? It was like New York, Ohio, Erie.
Oh, that's dope. I actually just met him for the first
Boston. I forget. The flyer's somewhere on my IG.
Look at it. DJ
Yeah, no,
Bamboo.
we played South by Southwest too.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I played South by Southwest, 4 years in a row? I missed it the past couple years just because I had some shit that I need to take care of at home. But
how was it?
dude, every year is a blast, man. I've made so many good friends. I DJ at, you're familiar with Nice Kicks, like that sneaker blog shoe store?
I think so,
They have
yeah.
a store down there. I DJ for them whenever I'm down there. My homie is called Peligrosa. I have like a ill Latin bass night party that they throw.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah, man, it's a cool time. It's definitely changed. Like I said, I played like 4 years in a row. The first year was with Brian or BD, and then the next 3 I went solo. So it was a different experience all 3 years.
You let it go. That's his real name, huh, Brian?
Yeah. I know he's my homie, so like,
No, I get it, dude. I get it. I mean, that's pretty crazy though. As far as like, now, whenever you first started like DJing down in Southside and shit like that, did you like feel that you were like, yo, I'm gonna try to make some shit happen with this?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because it was fun, and I honestly had like the utmost appreciation for the art. And
Now, can I ask you what your parents thought about it?
oh my god, they still ask me if I'm going to become a doctor. Like that's the end of every phone conversation.
Now, could I be ignorant for a second? Is, like, now, different cultures, I mean, like, school and shit like that, I mean, for my parents and shit like that, if I didn't get a secure job, that was like what they try to instill in your head.
Right.
And like you hear stereotypes that like any sort of different culture, it's even more severe. Like you're going to be like a lawyer, a doctor, something like that.
Right.
Is that pretty accurate?
100%. And it's with Filipinos, it's nurses.
Oh, is it? Nurses?
Yeah, nursing and just anything in the medical field. Just because it's, I don't know. I feel like we're built for that. Like Filipinos are real compassionate.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. We're just built for that type work, man. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, it's not a bad stereotype by any means, but I mean, if you don't want to do it, it kind of sucks just having other people look at you that are like, yo, like.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like I mean, I couldn't imagine it. The only thing I see is the shit you see on like, the shit you see in movies,
right?
And, like,
right.
What you hear about.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool though. But like, like I said, they come out to my gigs, they support. It's all love.
That's dope. Now, I mean, like,
yeah.
But I'm sure that they were sketchy in the beginning.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as any parent would, like, I'm
yeah, if you're,
I'm having fun. I think that's the thing that scared them the most is like. They saw that I was like doing my thing, but I was like just having too much fun, I think. And I definitely did have too much fun.
That's all right.
It definitely caught up to me too, but yeah, I don't know. I like their worries and stuff are all valid, and I love them to death. But I'm probably gonna be a DJ for the rest of my life.
That's all right, though. I mean, you seem to be killing it.
Hey,
now,
thanks, man.
what was I just gonna say? Oh, so after you're like, like, how does a DJ like? I'm sure it's easier back then than it is now because now there's like 1,000 DJs with just people playing shit off of their fucking iTunes,
right?
But like back then, was it a little bit easier to kind of make a name for yourself and like establish like I'm a professional, like I'm doing shit right?
Well, this is crazy to say now. I was young, like I was 19, 20, like I wasn't even 21 playing in these bars.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, so like it was hard for people to take me seriously, and it was also hard because Bonix, shout out Bonix, but he's another Filipino DJ, and I got lumped in that same category. So it was hard for me to kind of be like, yo, like I'm a different dude.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it, man. Like
Yeah,
if we were in San Francisco, it'd be a completely different story just because of the people that you are surrounded by.
Yeah. Now, why do you think that comes into play? Just as far
as Pittsburgh, man. I mean, come on.
I get it, but I mean, like, as far as like, I don't just because he is Filipino and is playing X songs doesn't mean you're Filipino and you're going to play the exact same fucking songs.
Right. But that's a thing that I had to work past myself, and I also get people to realize that, like, we're not the same person. There's two completely different paths, if you will.
I can understand that, I guess.
But I respect. That's my homie, man. Shout out to Bonix.
That's dope. I mean, like now. As far as like places back then, like what were like the big places? Like what was like the top of the tier whenever you were back there? Like what you were shooting for?
At that time, man, probably just like I don't know, because I was like playing, like I played S-Bar here. I played so I'd trade gigs with a bunch of college DJs in like West Virginia or whatnot, Penn State. So I'd play at this place called Bent Willie's in West Virginia.
That's dope. So like they would come up here and play, and you would go down there and play.
Yeah, and kind of like swap.
Oh, that's cool.
I play at on a couple spots. I put IUP. What's that place called? I forget.
There's Wolfie's,
Twisted Jimmy's or something like that.
Twisted Jimmy's, yeah.
But yeah, just whoever was like the college DJ at the time, I'd just be like, hey, like swap gig, whatever, or
that's pretty sick. I never thought about that. Like just kind of going and like, expanding your viewers.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick though. Now it's like being a DJ and like are you into like pirating music back then?
Back then, yeah, definitely. Now everything's licensed and
I know now.
Yeah.
I know now. You got to say it on here, but like, but back then, it's like it was like the Wild West. It's like everyone was just downloading shit.
It was all hard drives too. So I remember like everyone had like a circle and like there was like a main dude with like all the fucking music.
Yeah.
And luckily it was one of my homies and he just had like the hard drive. So like whenever the new pack would come in, it'd be a legit pack. It'd be like a from like some industry distribution,
Yeah.
But he'd just like copy it a million times and give it to everyone.
Yeah, it's weird that whole like like I said, my brother was older, so like he was off in college, and like he would come home with his fucking hard drive. He had like a terabyte or 500 gig hard drive or something, and he would just have like a rack of movies, rack of music, and like
Pirate Bay.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was Pirate Bay and like Demonoid and shit.
Oh,
and it's
shit.
like,
Yeah.
And there was just one person with like a server full of just like all kinds of shit, and he would just grab the whole thing and then just like sort through it.
Right.
Like he put me onto so much wild shit, random ass shit.
Yeah.
But it was a wild time back then to think about like all the pirating and like.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It is. It's pretty weird. Now I can't even fucking. I tried to watch a. I think I downloaded an episode of like fucking Weeds or something, and Verizon smacked my email. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. You'll be cut off.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm done with that. Yeah. So I mean, like, if you're now, what's the jump from there? Like, how long are you grinding before, like,
I feel like I'm still grinding, man.
Yeah, but I mean, in the beginning, you obviously don't have like a name yet,
right?
So like. I mean, how many years until like people start like knowing who you are and
Maybe
shit?
like 2-3 years into it. A big part of that was my introduction to like Time Bomb and Brick. That was through my boy Billy Anthony Bowser, Billy Hoyle. Shout out Billy Hoyle from the Soil.
Yeah.
He put me on. I was taking summer classes at CCAC, just to like try to like grind out. We met, I forget what, it was like a public speech class or some bullshit, but I remember seeing his backpack. It was some ill-ass fucking backpack. I'm like, yo, I need to know this dude.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
And we linked up, and that was a wrap. He's like, yo, like, I'm at the store called Time Bomb. I'm like, all right, dude, let me come through. I came threw down a fucking hip-hop, like the illest hip-hop set ever, like on the cuts, behind the back type shit in front of Brick. Brick's like, yo, I fuck with this dude, and like it was game over from there, man.
There you go. You're in with the Godfather of it
dude
all.
Yeah. And shout out Brick, man. I remember like I still have this like hip hop history paper that he wrote, and it was just like this breakdown of artists from New York, and like breaking it down by borough, and it's insane, man. I still look at it today just to reference shit. That dude's a legend, man.
Yeah, fucking legend. Like, just made such a crazy impact.
Yeah,
and it's pretty crazy. I've had Billy hit him up. I've hit him up. I've talked to him in person at Time Bomb, and he was like, you know what, dude? He was like, I listened to your episode. Like, he was like, I appreciate what you do. I like what you do. He was like, I just can't do it. He was like, I can't be on record. And
yeah, no, you can't.
He was
man.
like, it's no offense
That's
to you.
real
He
shit.
was like, I just can't be on record. And I was like, that's
real
cool,
shit.
dude. And I respect that. I mean, like, I was gracious enough that he even fucking took the time to listen to it.
That's
because
amazing.
like that place is the mecca of it all. Like
it is, man. That was what, like my first run-ins with like Mac and Wiz. Like I was DJing there.
That's everyone's first run-ins. I mean, that or Shadow Lounge is like the one of two places that you would really like see these people.
Right.
And then like other places started to expand. You had like Blasphemy and like Soul to Soul and shit. And like all those places would have them random ass like, them hitter parties.
Right.
Like Blasphemy would have some crazy ass parties going on. And
shit.
you would just meet random people, and it was like a dope, like, I mean, it was almost like the same effect as like what Creatives Drinks is now. It's like
a little more like grungier though. Like those times were like real dirty,
that was
gritty,
raw.
But it was cool, man.
It was.
Like, I feel like that set the foundation for all the shit now, just because
absolutely
people see what creative kids can do.
Those are all the like-minded people that were like, that were coming together randomly just out of like, coincidence.
Right.
Now we have like these tools where we could like orchestrate it, and like, that was my first one. CD10 was my first one, and like seeing it was fucking dope, dude.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Talking to Cody about things and like following him on like social media, and like I see you always at Clocked Out and stuff like that. Like what he does is definitely dope.
It's
like,
amazing, man.
And for people to like, like I feel like that's such like a vital thing for the city, because like there's so much like clicky ass shit.
Yeah.
And it's like that gives a reason. Like I've met so many people that are just all the same, everyone's in the same fucking group of friends and shit.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Shout out Cody, man.
Doing big things. So I mean, like what's like where does like your production of music come into play? Like, are you like, are you actively like making like songs and shit like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I try to write something every day, just to keep it keep my sword sharp.
Yeah.
I've released a couple tracks, like me solo, and then I have my most recent ones with my dude Suave Pav. It's like this remix to Throw Some D's. I don't know if you heard it. It's pretty fire. But yeah, I'm just trying to. I do a lot of what is it, like YouTube music scoring, if that makes sense. Like, I'll commission those out, so someone will hit me up and send me like screenshots of a video they want to do, and I'll kind of make jingles for each little thing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, and then just making like music. I don't know.
Do you make like beats and shit to like give to people to like rap and shit over?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, I mean, your process of that is like whenever it comes to you, or is like what's your working process?
So I mean, it depends. If I'm working with an artist, it could go multiple ways. It could, if they're in the studio with me, we'll build something from scratch.
Yeah.
If I'm just sending them a beat, I just literally just send them a beat.
Yeah.
But usually I put my process for writing. I mean, I open up my fucking laptop and I usually start with some kind of like melody, whether it's like a bass line, a simple bass line, or like a little keyboard riff, and I kind of build around that.
Yeah.
So I try to like write melodic music. If I do want to do like a dance tune, I'll start with drums just to give it like a kind of a bounce,
heartbeat or whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I just like, it's such a foreign aspect of me of like, how people create music and shit, because
it's tough.
Like,
it's tough, honestly, doing it for every day, and also being a musician. Like, I have a lot of respect for dudes. Billy Hoyle's a great example that don't know shit about music, and that's not no jab, because his beats are amazing, and he just has like this ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the people that
I
are
feel
in
like
touch with
sometimes
it.
classical musicians, like bona fide musicians, have struggles with, I don't know, kind of thinking outside the box, because there's a certain set of rules that I've followed my whole life playing music or whatever.
That's a good point.
So I have a lot of respect for those dudes that just like make cool sounding shit,
and just still grind at it.
Yeah.
And just like out there getting it.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, though. Now, I saw you do some things where I saw on your Instagram the other day that you did it was like a talk for a bunch of kids. What was it, Cultural Trust?
Oh, yeah. It was the Cultural Trust did like a summer DJ camp, and they had me come through and do a little talk.
Now, I saw that you had an Xbox controller.
Oh, yeah.
That you modded to be able to make beats with that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that can't be the first time you did that. So, like, when and where does that come into play?
So I've seen a bunch of that shit online through this dude, Sean Wasabi. He's like this dope music producer.
Yeah.
And he'll map out different controllers and shit to, I don't know if he uses Ableton, but that's what I mapped mine to. And that just stemmed from wanting to interact with music differently. Just because, I don't know, the layout of a keyboard or a drum machine can get kind of redundant at times. And as far as just like physical interaction,
You're keeping it fresh.
Yeah. And as far as like, and showing it to those kids, that had such a crazy impact on them, because they might not be familiar, or a full-size keyboard might be intimidating to them, or a drum pad might be intimidating to them.
Yeah.
An Xbox controller, they know what's up. You
consumable
find out
for
what
them.
sounds what, and then you make the pattern from there.
Man, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I thought that was like real interesting whenever I seen it. Like, I didn't know what was going on, and then I watched it at first with no volume.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to it, and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, you program all that shit, like where, like you got some computer skills and shit in you?
Yeah. So just recently, I've gotten into kind of like the design of music software. I don't know, for any like tech people out there, it's like this framework called Juice. It's in C++. It's used to design like VSTs. It's like an instrument. So like, let's say you open your music production software. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And it's just like a thing you open up that could be a guitar amp. It could be a synthesizer. So I'm doing a lot of research. I'm actually trying to build my own.
Oh, really?
Eventually, yeah.
Now, were you into computers and like, coding and shit like that? Always?
No. It's a relatively new thing. Shout out my partner, Allison. She kind of like put me on, but it's real methodical and simple once you understand patterns. Like, if you understand patterns, and if you look at it like that, because it can be intimidating just looking at a bunch of lines of code.
Yeah.
But once you start like kind of segmenting shit out and noticing patterns, it's pretty easy, I feel.
Yeah. I see, like, I have some friends that do like he writes iOS apps, and like he'll explain shit to me and like show me it and show me like how he's writing code. It's just crazy to me.
It still confuses me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like,
it's interesting though.
Just I guess navigating is one of the most important parts. Just knowing your way around shit.
Yeah, not being able to fuck it up.
Yeah,
Too bad.
It's easy to do that.
Now, like, what's your plans as far as like what you got going on now? Like, what's next? Like, what do you want to keep doing? You just want to keep making music and creating?
Keep making music. Yeah, just keep creating, keep grinding. I've been trying to push like a certain sound, which I feel is like the new sound. I don't know where that was going. I think I just got high real quick.
That's all right.
But I'm trying to push, I don't know, like my personality and my sound through music.
Yeah.
Trying to share that and put people on new shit.
It got to be a hard way. It's hard to try to explain what you want to do. It's like I'll think of these people ask me to write something about like what my goal is with this podcast, and it's like I really don't know what I want yet. I'm just like doing it, and I'm like putting what I want into it at that time,
right?
And just like hoping that reflects in a good way.
Well, sometimes that's the most you can do, man. I mean, because I've set goals before, solid goals, and those haven't been reached, and so it's devastating sometimes. So sometimes it's cool just to kind of go with the flow,
For sure. Now, where does I'm curious, because like you definitely, like we talked about the whole fashion shit. You're wearing some Geiger shit right now, and I'm curious, like where did that first start coming in at? Like as far as like design, like if we want to call it as design.
Yeah,
like, I see you with Supreme shit sometimes. Like how does that come into play?
That's all. I mean, the Supreme and the brand name shit are more like that's more when I like matured, but I was on Supreme like in high school. I remember going to like New York when it was still like a skate shop and then going there with my boys and like just walking in and buying shit and walking out.
It's fucking insane.
Like it's crazy to think
of what it is now.
Yeah,
it's still crazy. I was just out in California and like
I haven't been to that store.
It was insane.
Yeah,
Fairfax is just wild in general because like Hundreds, like Huff. There's like a couple everywhere you walk out in California is a resale store. Every single place you go. But all these other like actual stores are bumping up their look because of like all the heat around them. Right. It's like all these resale shops are looking so dope, and that's such like a hot thing now with like Round 2 and everything. Yeah. All these stores are completely different than when I seen them like 6 or 7 years ago whenever I went, and it was super interesting to see. But like we walked up to Supreme at like 1:00, and there was a fucking flood of people in there.
I can't imagine, man.
So I just went back at like 5.
Was it like a Thursday? Was it like drop day or something?
I think it was no, it was Friday. Okay. We went on Friday.
Well, something dropped the other day.
Yeah, something dropped the other day, so people were like in there going crazy. But I ended up wanting this fucking Bella Lugosi towel, and I just like was in there. Too many people left, walked around and seen everything, and then ended up going back and getting it like a fucking idiot. Spent too much money on it. What can you do though? Now, as far as I always see you wearing. Last time you were here, I always see you wearing like the straps. The strap bags. You always have like some interesting ones.
Oh, really? This is the same one I've had for a while. I know I have a chest rig from the homies Hounds. That shit's dope.
That might be one that I've seen too.
But I've had this one for probably like 6 years, man.
That's what's so up. Now, you're like, what do you think as far as like of all the shit with like the fashion and everything like that? Like, you're pretty like into all the. You're pretty welcoming to all the newer shit, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of it is like real, like, and it's weird to say, like just internet based and like real absurd, and like hence like the name of that page.
Do you find
it's almost like art, Do
you make them photos?
No, that's like a curated page. Some of those are mine. Like a bunch of I went to New York recently. And a bunch of like the Cause shit, like he had like a Cause Dior pop up there. Like those are all my pictures. But most of those, I went to like all the spots, Off-White, whatever. But most of those pictures are just like reposts. I tag all the people in it too, so everyone.
Yeah, that's dope though. I mean, like it's interesting shit, like them boxing gloves, the Louis Vuitton boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Like I like seeing shit like that. Like it's interesting, but it's like it's just different.
Right.
Like, fashion shit is so bizarre now.
It's cool. It's crazy. Like one of my favorite brands now is like, I guess it's everyone's favorite brand, but it's Balenciaga, and their designer Demna is just real like I don't know, meme like centric, if you will. Like he does a lot of stuff for Vetements, the Vetements, if you will.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot of just like real weird like meme type shit, and I think it's fucking hilarious.
Like I saw you put them Croc gloves.
yeah.
Like shit like that. It's just
it's function. It's also like function too, man. I love seeing, especially with sneakers now too, like repurposing and random shit.
Yeah.
The repurposing of, I remember when like the IKEA bag was like the thing, and people were making hats and like bras and shit out of them. Like
yeah, I saw
that.
Like
that part of streetwear I really respect, and I love how streetwear is like high fashion now too.
Now, do you dislike it at all as far as like the saturation of all the? I mean,
no. I feel like everyone should have access to it. The only thing that I like kind of dislike is people's like education, I guess, if you will, on certain things.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm a design head, so like, someone wearing Comme des Garçons, like, do you know who designed that? Like,
yeah,
there's a story behind it, and it's not. I guess it's me kind of being stingy and like a real appreciator of the design, but
gatekeepers.
I feel like
that's what I call them.
I feel like there has to be at least some appreciation, like, because I love it for that.
Make
like,
no mistake, I'm not saying it's a negative thing,
right,
to be a gatekeeper. Like,
right,
if you're passionate as fuck about something and you love it,
right,
you feel that when people don't show the same appreciation for it, it's like, you know, you're not giving that same amount of energy and love to it. So
well,
it's
also like a hype thing too. Like that
yeah,
hype's a fucking killer.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's definitely bizarre.
But it's cool. Like I said, I have no problem with it. Everyone needs access to it. And it's a good time because like hip hop and streetwear is at the fucking forefront. Like you were just mentioning like the hundreds and all that, and 10 Deep and all that. Like those are all like OG like streetwear brands now. To see like that type shit in the forefront, in literally like Louis Vuitton. I mean, like, with Virgil and all that. It
just recycles. Like everything is just recycling again. I mean, back in like the late 90s and shit, you had like shoes like the fucking D3s from Osiris.
Right, yeah.
And then
A$AP Rocky, yeah.
Yeah, A$AP Rocky does it again. And like, you know, the fanny packs used to be popular. That no one would be caught dead in them. And now they're like the
even
big,
Champion, man.
Yeah, Champion used to be
the
fucking
Champion come
cheap
up.
as fuck at Walmart. And now they're like, some of them are $70 for a fucking pair of shorts.
Is insane. I can't describe, but I think they got bought out by like, it's either like Vogue or Vanity Fair or one of those big brands, and I guess it just revamped, which I fuck with completely. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I don't hate it. I got a pair of Champion shorts right upstairs that are the newer ones, and like, I mean, you can't hate on this shit, but it's super interesting to see, and I feel like some people, you know, like, it could be. You know, some people could have a sour taste about it. Like, I definitely did have a sour taste at first. Like, I just felt like everything was just, like, saturated. People were just, like, making, you know, the same recycled-ass shirts.
Right.
And the same, like, I saw some dude today with, like, a fucking... He had... there's a brand that was in Pittsburgh a while ago. They had, like, a shirt that had the same exact thing that this dude just started printing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, but then again, you start to get deeper and deeper into it. It's like people are taking inspiration from everyone.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Virgil does that a lot, and people give him shit for it. But like, I forget what speech. I think it was at Columbia. He did this speech, and he was like, it was like his 10% rule or something like that, where he just like flips something 10%.
I mean, that's pretty interesting.
And I mean, but that's hip hop, man. That's flipping a sample. That's, you know, that's
yeah. Now, I mean, now fuck all this shit. Back to this music. Now, you do something. You do something that is called. I have it written down here. Who sampled?
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
So that's a party that my dude Paul throws, and it's just. Are you familiar with the website Who Sampled?
No.
It's a database of samples essentially. So like, I don't know. You're familiar with samples, right? Like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know
so
what you're talking about.
that part is essentially me playing the original into the sample.
Okay.
It's cool. I actually recorded my set. I'm in the middle of editing it, but I'm about to drop that set soon.
Oh, that'll be dope.
It'll be cool. A lot of cool samples. Yeah, it's cool to hear, like, especially as a producer myself. A lot of these songs you hear on the radio, man, are just like
Old school samples.
And you just add an 808 and a clap, you know?
Now you're someone that like you get into like all the old shit and you like are listening for like things to use and
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure like
Yeah.
I mean, you probably have that type of like configuration in your brain.
For sure, yeah.
It's like you just hear something, you're like, yep.
Absolutely.
And that's, I mean, like, I don't know, it's cool to like hear about how people like, you know, kind of their process behind it, and like that's why I do all this shit. Is like it's interesting to just get a little glimpse of like how you came up and like where you came from. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Pretty interesting. So I mean, like just hard work from here on out, just
Essentially,
creating dope shit.
Yeah, I got some things coming soon. I don't think I can say much about them, but got some things in the works.
Oh, there you go. There's things that are in the works. So
yeah. Keep posted.
Keep posted. All right, so the last segment I do with all my guests is called Desert Island Questions. Desert Island Questions is something where I give all the guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to use over and over and over again until you die. So the first category of Desert Island Questions is things to watch. I know you're not real big into movies, like you said, but
right.
Pick 3 things to watch. It could be whole TV series. It could be your fucking whole Pokémon series, whatever you want.
Oh, man.
3 choices.
To watch on a desert island forever?
To watch forever and ever, over and over again. It could be TV, movie, whatever you want.
Oh, man. That's
Take your time.
Question.
Take your time.
Yeah.
I'll cut out any downtime.
Oh, man. I'm thinking maybe some kind of like, I'd have to, if I'm watching it over and over again, maybe, so I'm not into films per se, but I do love Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
So maybe just like the whole Kubrick collection, because I know like every time you watch it, you'll find like
New
something
shit.
else. Yeah.
What's your favorite of it?
I mean, I hate to be like
Clockwork.
taboo. Yeah. Clockwork.
Okay.
I mean, Lolita is good. I've read that book too.
He's an interesting dude.
Weird dude.
Super weird.
But yeah, I think I'd go with Kubrick movies.
All right. That's all right. Well, I mean, you have to pick 2 other choices.
Oh, 2. Well, there's more categories.
No, there's 2.
Oh,
you have to
2 more.
pick-
Oh,
You have to pick 3 movies.
oh, 3 movies. Oh, okay. So
Well, 3 anything to watch.
anything to watch. All right. So
I'm not going to let you have Stanley Kubrick as just your whole category.
Oh yeah, I feel you. It's hard with me. I'm terrible with movies, man.
Could be anything.
Can it be like a YouTube series?
I'll let you have a YouTube series.
I'm a big fan of this dude Cody Ko. He came to Pittsburgh actually on tour. He just does like I don't know, what you call it, like when you watch a video and you just like commentate over it.
Okay.
Pretty funny dude. I'd watch that and what
over and
else?
over and over again on a desert island forever.
If he keeps coming out with content. Well, see, that's the thing. All right, no, wait, we'll take that back. No YouTube. We'll just stick to like movies and shit. All right, so Clockwork Orange.
Come up to the mic, please.
Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
We'll say, can I do like the Mortal Kombat series?
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's good. That's definitely like specific enough.
Yeah, and last one probably be. Damn, man. Sailor Moon.
Okay.
There's enough Sailor Moon to, and I'd watch Sailor Moon on like the English dub and then the Japanese version. So by the time like I just learned Japanese while I'm on the island as well.
All right. I like that. That's a good. Now you're thinking. I'm just gonna take 5 Stanley Kubrick movies and be depressed the whole time. All right. So you got 3 things to watch. Second thing is, do you read?
I do.
Okay, so 3 books to take with you on a desert island.
3 books. Wow. Fuck.
These are hard questions.
The Bible?
bro.
No, I'm just kidding.
The Bible? No.
Let's see. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I've read that
at a real young age. I read this when I was in like maybe like a freshman in high school. But that's a good book.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I saw him speak, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that like a MLM type thing, or is it like a real?
What do you mean MLM?
Like a multi-level marketing? Like, do you have to like join a?
Oh, you have to pay someone. You know, you're in a Holiday Inn room, and
I see.
You just listen to him talk a little bit, and like it makes. I think it's more or less of just like you're paying from the motivation,
right?
Like, you know what I mean? It's like you think you're getting some like
I get it,
real like deep secrets, but just fucking bust your ass.
True, I feel you. So I mean, that's a good book. I enjoyed that. What else? Fuck. I swear I read books, bro.
It's all right. I'll wait here all fucking day.
What did I read? I read something recently that was there. Oh, How Music Works by something Byrne. David Byrne, maybe?
What's that all about?
It's just a book on how, like, why the human brain appreciates music.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
I could definitely read that over and over again because there's a lot of information on that.
That's dope.
And I'm getting it back now. I'm remembering all the books. And then there's this book called The Record Store Mind, which is this dude who was like a record exec at a bunch of old school California like rock indie label.
Yeah.
Kind of just goes through people's like record selections and why they like certain songs.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
So yeah,
that's good. That's 3 books.
So like 2 music books and like I forgot what my first book was.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh yeah, that
you could read that 57 times on a desert island and never sell a house.
Never sell a house. I'll call my mom and tell her how to do it though. Like, yo, mom, check this out.
That's so funny. All right, so I'm curious about this one. Third category is things to listen to.
Oh man,
and,
are these like sing just one song or are these albums?
I'll let you go with albums. I won't make you pick 3 songs, but albums.
Okay. Albums are tough because I was like, at least now I don't think of things by albums. But hold on, let me look up where these singles are from.
How do you want to do it? You want to do singles? You have 3 favorite songs?
I do, actually.
No, you don't. Come on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fucking music guy, you got 3 favorite songs? Give me them.
My first favorite song is George Benson, Give Me the Night.
Okay.
Luther Vandross, Never Too Much.
I know that one.
The third one is a throw-up between like pretty much any Tribe song. I don't know.
Okay.
But that's very jazzy, funky. Like, I mean, that's the shit my dad put me on, so...
All right. Well, I respect that answer because you came real quick with that.
Yeah.
You had hesitation.
I play those songs. If you ever
categories.
listen to like any of like my chiller, not like crazy trappy hip hop sets, but like any of my chill, funky DJ sets, those 2 songs are always in it.
All right. Now I'm gonna throw in a bonus question. Real curious about
ding,
it.
Ding, ding.
I want to know 3 of the biggest pet peeves for a DJ.
Oh man. Oh, that's easy.
Pumped about it.
Requests when at weddings I've DJ'd. I DJ a handful of weddings every year. I get it. It's my service to the bride and groom.
Yeah.
By all means, I let them have free range. Now it's cool because you can use Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the club, for example, at that Who Sampled party, someone's like, "Can I make a request?" And I'm like, "I'm playing. You know what sample? I'm playing samples." She's like, "I don't know what samples are."
I got something lined up right now, bro. Back the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, and people don't understand a request is a request. It's not a demand. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do what I try to be smart with them. Like, if someone requests something and I don't want to play it, I'll play something, maybe the same artist but different song.
Same vein.
Yeah. That shit sucks. Janky club equipment is terrible. I just hate walking in because a lot of what I do is real technical. So like all the faders and knobs have to be in some working, not perfect, but somewhat working condition. And not so much around Pittsburgh. I played in New York in like April, I think, and it was probably the sketchiest setup I've ever played on. Like those volume fader things, like they're supposed to be gradual. This one kind of just went from 0 to 100. That and just a bunch of knobs weren't working, but that's number 2. And what's number 3, man? just people not being open to new music, especially now with like how much experience I have in just playing to crowds. I take pride in squeezing not necessarily like new things, but different things in with something familiar. You know, kind of sandwiching it.
I like that
to make it work, and it kind of hurts when people don't appreciate that. But I guess I also shouldn't expect people to notice that at the same time. But
I like that though. That's fair for sure.
Yeah.
Huh. That's good. All right. Second to last question that I ask everyone is the death row meal. So, first of all, before that, did you ever fuck up DJing?
All the time, yeah.
I mean, like, what do you do when you fuck up? You just play it
man.
off?
So, I keep, well, I guess it's a dongle now, but I used to always have before iPhones and shit. I'd always have like an iPod just in case with like an aux cord.
Oh, okay.
So if let's say my laptop died, I'd just plug in that, or I'd have like an actual record, so I could put the record on and turn everything off and reset.
Okay.
But I mean, I've fucked up while drunk before, and that doesn't end up good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good
but
point.
I mean, I DJ better when I'm drunk sometimes, just because I don't give a shit. And,
yeah. That's good. I was
when
curious
when you fuck up like let's say in a competition or whatever, you just kind of got to go with the flow. And
you've been in competitions?
Oh yeah, I've done the DMC. That's like the crazy battle one. I've done the Red Bull 3 style twice. Done a couple battles in like for Sprite.
Jeez.
Yeah, in like North Carolina. I was real big in the battle. Like that was like how I cut my teeth in like DJing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Fuck with that. I fuck with that. All right. So the second to last question is a death row meal. You get to pick whatever you want to eat from how many ever places you want to eat, as much as you want to eat.
I got you. That I don't eat meat, but for my last meal, I definitely would eat meat. That'd be a fucking Delmonico steak from anywhere. I don't know, just a thick ass.
Are you vegetarian?
Delmonico steak. I am vegetarian.
Now, how long have you been a vegetarian?
For almost 2 years now.
How is it?
It's been on and off actually. So I was like vegetarian for a long time in college as well. It's all right, man.
What are the reasons behind it?
A lot of like stomach shit, man. I noticed my stomach just not doing well with like milk shit and
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't know if you were like crazy, like the whole animal craziness.
No, I eat fish. Like I'll eat.
I'll kill a fish. No problem.
Yeah. Because I mean, you gotta get protein somehow. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting though. But at Delmonico, that's a good. I feel like the most common desert island out of. I think you're going to be episode 83. The most common is definitely a steak and like a baked potato.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says it.
Yeah. I mean that's it.
What do you miss about it? Like, what do you miss eating?
I was gonna say burgers, but the Impossible Burger is fucking awesome, man.
What's that?
It's like a plant-based burger. They have them at a couple places here in Pittsburgh. I think Reed & Co has them.
Okay.
Industry might, I think. It's just like this. I don't know exactly what it is.
Is it made with like seeds and shit?
I'm not sure. I think it might be like tofu and some kind of like mushroom. I'm not 100% sure. But it's crazy. It like bleeds. There's like beet juice in it. So like when you slice it open, it like bleeds. It's fire, bro.
Really?
It's really good.
I'll try that out.
Yeah.
I got no
but
problem with it.
I miss like chicken strips. I miss all like the junk type shit.
Chicken strips, dude.
Chicken wings. Like I've had like a couple of like imitation chicken shits, which they're all right, but there's just something about like
I did have
juicy ass wings.
I had buffalo. I had vegan or vegetarian buffalo chicken strips at the OTB Cafe.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And they were fire. That was my first time. I think they were made out of Szechuan. Was it Szechuan, maybe?
Oh, seitan?
Seitan, that's it. I don't even know what it is. But
yeah, it's just like a wheat gluten that they stretch out.
Yeah, it was so weird, but I mean, it was really good. Like I thought it was great, but it's just so it had the same texture of it,
right?
Pretty close, at least.
Yeah, pretty
interesting. All right, so I guess that's a good. Anything else to eat?
That and then maybe some of my mom's. It's this Filipino dish called sinigang.
What's that?
It's like a tamarind-based soup, so it's like sweet and sour.
Oh. That's pretty good.
And you can put like whatever you want in it, but like she uses like the classic like recipe is using like oxtail,
Ooh.
so it's like real tender.
That's what's up. That's good.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to have Mom whip me at that before I go.
Before I go. Hey, I'm about to die. I need that soup. All right. So the last question that I ask everyone is if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Fuck. I forgot this question. I remember you asking Allison this. Yo, I don't know. I think I'd fucking talk to Jesus and be like, yo, like, is this all real? Like, are you serious? Like,
I don't think anyone has came up with that answer yet.
Just because, like, I grew up, I mean, I mentioned First Communion. I grew up in a church and, you know.
Were you Catholic?
Yeah, a Roman Catholic, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
like,
were you guys like, was it every week you were at church?
yeah, every
like,
fucking week, yeah.
Sunday school? No.
I did CCD when I
Yeah.
like, all that shit, yeah.
Up until you were confirmed?
Yeah.
And went, like, I don't know, dude. I was all that shit too. I did it all. And I just don't. I don't know. It's hard for me to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Shoot
either.
it
I
all
just
up.
want to be like, yo, well, first off, I'd want to see how he looks like because I know Jesus ain't white.
Yeah, I mean, you probably. I don't know.
And then I want to be like, yo,
fake-ass
like,
shit.
yeah, like, what are these all magic tricks? Like,
I don't know, dude. It's weird though. The religion shit is the scariest thing in the world.
I know, right? But I don't know. Would I talk to Jesus?
It would be. I mean, that's a good answer. It's
Yeah.
interesting for sure.
I mean, just because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who else I'd talk to.
No one else.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe like someone in my family, like one of my great grandfathers or something, just to ask like questions.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just random shit, you know?
That would be cool for sure. Someone from way back.
Yeah.
that would be dope.
But yeah, that's
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming over.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. Long time coming.
It was a long time coming. You're an interesting dude. I had no idea what you were going to be all about. From a family that owned an ice rink,
Yeah.
and you working there to like, that's pretty interesting. You're an interesting dude, and it isn't. I mean, you could definitely tell that, like, you know, you make your name in the city. Like, you're very well known, and I mean, like, I noticed the work, you know. Like,
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
I noticed the work you put in. Take a time and promote anything you want to promote.
Just on Instagram, DJ Bamboo, Twitter, DJ_Bamboo. I've been trying to get that for like 10 years, bro.
DJ Bamboo
Just straight up
on
DJ.
Twitter?
Or just straight up DJ.
Someone
though.
got it?
Yeah, it's like this, I don't know. He's had it for a while though too. It's some dude in like Jamaica or something, but he hasn't used it since like 2010 or something.
Yeah, it's the worst. How'd you come up with your name?
So when I was younger, my parents made my sister and I do this like Filipino youth group type deal. And we do this dance called the Tinik Ling, and it's like this dance. It's like a native Filipino dance where you take two long ass bamboo sticks and you kind of like clap them to like a beat or whatnot, and then people jump in and out of them dancing, flaring their hands or whatnot.
That's pretty wild.
And my buddies in college were just flipping through like my Facebook or my whatever and saw that shit and was like, hey, it's bamboo.
That just stuck
kinda
like that.
stuck, yeah.
Ain't that fucking crazy?
It's wild.
Your nicknames. Strawberry has been with me since I think 6th grade. You know, I had strawberry blonde hair. And
Yeah.
I was in 6th grade, and the seniors didn't want to learn my name, so they just called me Strawberry.
That's
and it
fire, dude.
literally stuck all them years.
That's so cool.
Principals, fucking announcing for football, ridiculous. But I don't hate it. I embrace it.
It's a cool name.
At DJ Bamboo, scroll down. I'll have all the links of everything. Brand new shirts next week. I'm picking them up on Saturday. I got the black with the pink colorway, and I got the gray with the white colorway. I got more fucking stickers coming. I got another roasted coffee coming.
Hey,
Killing shit.
out here, bro.
We're out here killing shit.
I got merch coming soon too. So I released some merch over the spring. I'm working on like a winter.
Where can
line,
people get your merch at?
It'll be on my Instagram. It's all Shopify, so it'll be on my Instagram.
Can people get it right now though?
No, it's sold out actually. Yeah.
No big deal. Sold out, no big deal. Along with my coffee, sold out, no big
out
deal.
here.
We're out here. But thanks for listening to everyone. I'll call you right back on Instagram. I'll call you right back across the boards. You already know the drill. Please take a second and subscribe to the podcast. You don't have to, I'm not asking you to buy shit. Just bro, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the podcast if you like what I do. That's the biggest thing you could do for me. Throw me a review if you got an extra second. If you take a screenshot and you send me a screenshot that you put a review in there, I'll send you a fat pack of stickers for free. For free, dude. That's all I ask you. Free 99. But I appreciate everyone who's listening as usual, and I'll call you right back.